We got a little army going right here. I've been diving into characters a little bit lately. Let's walk through the process of how I developed it, kind of from the ground up. So I picked the most approachable character in the world, the human face. Come on, kind of giving that caricature vibe here. It's an easy way to kind of make something that's approachable, and everybody obviously understands what the face looks like. So it's a good kind of practice ground and trial ground. Then here for the eyeballs, I definitely went easy on them. Picking something like a closed eye here, kind of that sleepy look, gives a super fast impression to the overall emotion of the character, as well as it kind of is a little cheat there. You don't have to draw the whole eyeball there. Maybe as I develop and get better, we can put eyeballs in there, but for the time being, I'm liking that little sleepy vibe here. The mouth can follow suit with that, with the expression. You can do like a grimaced face or a happy smile. Anything like that plays in a ton to the overall piece, and run with that. See what expression kind of suits your character best. I always like to sketch mine in kind of this bald shape here. It gives me a really good starting point to kind of mold in the hair. The lines here on the left side of the face didn't really look so great the first time around, so maybe we'll turn those into some dark shadows and just kind of correct them. And by the end of this, I'm sure he won't even be able to pick out where the mistakes are. Hair's one of those funny things that I feel like when you have a shape to the head and you kind of mold it on there, it's almost like clay. You can kind of see where it's supposed to land, and you can kind of slowly just sketch it in there, really rough it in, and there are no mistakes with hair. It can go in any direction, and there's probably somebody that's rocked that before. So it's kind of one of those forgiving stakes that you can kind of get messy with it and let the setup of the character kind of tell you where to go with it. And right now we got this funny like aftershave look, so definitely going to drop like some facial hair on here. I don't know if that's part of the story of this character or not, but it's definitely a fun ad here where we can go at it again and see where kind of some facial hair and a beard would land on this guy. Having the chin and stuff already in place gives me kind of a shape to mold off of again. So gives me areas where definitely it's going to be longer, kind of down at the bottom of the chin, and then kind of tuck it up maybe a little bit shorter as it comes around the bottom of the jaw. And then of course, kind of now that I've got the chin in there, I can touch up the top, give him some more sideburns, and kind of re-informed the rest of the decisions about the hair. Can't forget those eyebrows either. At this stage in the character, I like to add just some quick embellishments, maybe some wrinkles or some extra add-ons and halftones to give some depth to it. Characters that are just black and white are definitely my favorite, and it kind of limits you as far as the contrast goes. So having those extra hash marks in there definitely gives that added detail and brings it up a little bit. And of course, the accessories on the character are some of the best. This 5-panel here is one of my favorites to draw. Little drop shadow under it, little doubled up on the bill. Just a fun little add-on, and something you can change each time over to give a little bit more emotion or different direction to the habitat that this character is kind of existing in. Let me know if you guys are feeling this little sleepy Sive guy. We'll see where he goes in the future. And of course, nothing really exists with a big fat rectangle around it, so we got to contour cut it. Something that definitely is well worth the extra time. Even if you're just trading the slaps, having that contour cut means that this is going to be able to get just slapped up right next to anything and have a nice border to it. It just makes that little extra clean kind of edge to it. Nothing worse than having like a really sweet design and having to cut it out yourself, or just that extra space looking super awkward on the background. So give this a shot. Maybe you pick something like your favorite animal to draw, or maybe a human face just like this, and give it a go. See where you kind of land with it and vary stuff up. You can see here we got like skinnier heads, fatter heads, taller heads, something a little bit different. You can throw a different hat on there and it definitely changes the vibe up. I'll be honest here, I was drawing the same exact character each time over here and they all came out way different. Sometimes, you get a funky line down and the nose looks weird this time around, or the eyeballs look weird that time around. Use that variety as kind of your sketching platform to see what your favorite stuff is. So I got this wood panel here, but I think I definitely want to buff it out white so we can have that same backdrop on there. Definitely not feeling the brown here. Let's go back to the garage. I got some leftover white buff paint here that I think I'll just roll over top of this wood panel to give us a nice background. Can't use the Sharpie on this one, so let's refill some Molotovs and get working with them. Oh, it's really kind of interesting to see how the paint's actually laying up on this. It's much darker, of course, way more opaque, but I guess with the Sharpie, we're getting a little bit of, two-tone with it. A little bit darker section on the areas you double up with. Here, the opacity is so solid, you're getting that solid black. I might have to play around here with the character and see how the half-toning works a little bit better with maybe a larger size or maybe a thinner marker. I don't know. I think I might prefer kind of that softer mid-black than the full dark black. Maybe next time I'll mix a little bit of white or another color into my black to just cut it a little bit. Definitely hype on these really big ones, and I think I might be digging these bucket hats a little bit more than the 5-panel. What do you guys think? Let's go figure out a way to cut these out. We got the first one loose. Check that out. Looking so sweet. I was able to cut back in and get a little tighter profile on the left side there because it was still attached. Maybe I'll bolt this back down and come in and clean up some of these edges. So when I was cutting this one out, I chipped both the hat and the little end of the beard there. So I think I'll just touch that up with a little bit of spray paint and draw right over it. The undersurface isn't quite as smooth. Whoa. Spraying out his brains. So we'll see if it soaks in a little bit. Probably end up doing the back sides of these as well. Tried a little test on painting this edge, but it kind of just set in too much, so I think I'll just do a quick pass on the backs here. I want to make a couple of these into installs, so what I'm going to do with that is drill a couple 3/8 holes and then be able to bolt through them. Now the most common spacing is 1 inch apart, so I'm just going to pick what lands kind of naturally on the design, hide it in the top of the head here as well as the beard. If I have some clear coat, I'll throw some over top of this for sure. Just the paint marker got pretty scratched up pretty easily. I was using power tools and all, but definitely want these to have a nice lifespan to them. Some of the scratches look nice though. Falls in line with the griminess. Now that we're done touching them up, the silver bolts are definitely going to stand out. Let's hit them with black. Look at that, it's already camouflaged in there. And I'll do some big washers on the backside and just tighten those down to set the front of the bolt in there. The bolts could use a little bit of half toning to disguise them just a touch more. Right on, we got a little army going right here. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed the process and dig the little Sleepy Sive character. Subscribe if you enjoyed the content. That's going to do it for me, guys. Peace.